Mr. Speaker, it's against the law for Cabinet Minister to own stocks and investments unless they are in a blind trust. Now, the Finance Minister has been caught, and now reports indicate that at least 4 other Cabinet Ministers are using the same loophole to maintain control of their investments. So, a very simple question to the Prime Minister: who are they?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, everyone in this House refers to the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner to ensure that we are following the rules and putting in place the things that Canadians expect of all parliamentarians. And it's interesting to note that the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner has made recommendations to members of all parties and in previous governments. And the mechanisms that the Finance Minister currently has in place are very similar to the mechanisms that the previous Conservative Finance Minister had in place. I'm assuming he followed the Conflict of Interest Commissioner's advice.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, we know that the Finance Minister was exploiting a loophole to shelter $5 million he made from his family-owned, publicly traded company. Now we learn that 4 other of the Prime Minister's Cabinet Ministers are using the exact same loophole. So again, a very simple question: who are they?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, exactly to avoid situations in which mud is slung, in which personal attacks are made, we have a commissioner that governs and engages with all members of this House to ensure that the rules are followed. The Finance Minister, all ministers in this House, and ministers of the previous Conservative government follow the advice and the recommendations of the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner. That's how Canadians can continue to have confidence in what everyone in this House does.
Honourable Leader.
Incredibly important to know who these Cabinet Ministers are. Like the Finance Minister, they could be profiting from investments and stocks while making decisions that could impact the value of their own assets. Now, if the Prime Minister is so sure and so proud that they're following all the rules, why won't he just tell us who they are?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this place is healthy because of a lot of back and forth, because the opposition has a responsibility to challenge and criticize the government and make sure all of us are doing the right things for Canadians. But the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner is there to ensure that above all the petty personal attacks, Canadians can be confident that people follow the rules and fulfill their responsibilities. That is exactly what happened. The Conservatives have nothing else to talk about because Canada is doing so well, because the middle class is growing, because people are...
Order.